Hey everyone, so today I have a special guest for Crypto OGS. He's actually one of the biggest Crypto OGS, not only from Latin America, from Colombia, where I'm from, if not worldwide. Miguel, the co-founder of Qtum and CEO. Miguel, thank you so much for being in the podcast today.
Well, thank you, Andres, for having me. We're really happy to be here on your podcast, and let's get started.
Amazing. So we're here actually in London with Miguel, just talking about Web3, everything that's happening right now. But let's talk about Miguel as a person, let's talk about who is Miguel. If somebody asks, who is Miguel Palencia?
Well, that's a question usually not asked. I'm from Colombia. I was born in Barranquilla, and I'm a systems engineer. I saw, always being with computers my entire life. So pretty much self-taught developer. Eventually went to college and whatnot. And once the crypto bug bit me about 9 years ago, I kind of went like completely insane. Just started learning about the technology, and I started as a miner back then, and eventually started making mining pools, not just for my own mining farm, but for other clients and whatnot, and it got pretty popular back in the day.
Let's go a little bit back before crypto. So you've always been an entrepreneur, right? You haven't worked for any company ever.
Well, actually, yes, I have. I did,
okay.
Especially when I was in college. But I was always doing different types of businesses. Okay. Like I had like a cell phone stand back in the day. Where, we imported the cell phones to Colombia, and we did pretty well. And I also partnered with some guy that was selling copper.
Copper, oh wow.
To Chinese. So that was kind of like my first contact, with Asian businesses, and it was really cool. That was a few years before crypto.
Amazing. So because we come from Colombia, and back in the 90s and at the beginning of the 2000 years, obviously we have to work as an engineer or doctor or like a normal jobs. And was your family always supportive that you were an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were always very supportive, and pretty proud of that I've always kept trying. Like, never gave up on anything. If you fail, you keep trying and trying and trying until you win. So that's kind of my motto for life.
Amazing. And now let's go into detail about crypto. So people normally think that because you're in crypto, you made it. Like, people think that it's easy, but tell us about, you start to mine, you start to do different projects, but when was the moment that you decide, I'm going all in, I'm going to stick to crypto for the rest of my life?
Actually, it was during a time where most people leave. It was during the bear market of 2014, 2015.
2014, okay.
When people started panicking back then, but after being there already for 2 years and everything that I learned, and I was able to see the potential of technologies that weren't really used, like op return. Op return was a function, and Bitcoin still is, that you could use it to send messages. So that was like before smart contracts, before Ethereum.
Wow.
So we started I started kind of playing with it, and I realized that you could do something. So that's probably where the original idea for VeChain came from.
Wow.
We started testing with a fork of Bitcoin, just trying to send messages, like write and send a message. So eventually we figured out that we could do a way to sort of brand a tag. We thought actually actual NFC tags. So we had the idea of placing an ID on an NFC tag, and then basically you could do anything with this. You could put inside, Louis Vuitton bag or a pair of shoes. Eventually you could verify it maybe with your phone. And this tag, the ID will be written on blockchain.
Okay.
So you could use the blockchain to write and to verify eventually. That's when we started working on this, and that was late 2015.
2015. Yeah. And how long it took to Qtum to took off? Like, what was that moment that you said, this thing is working right now after many years? How long it took? Because it's a whole blockchain. People normally talk about crypto, they talk about trading, making money, but not many people were talking about a blockchain, right?
Right. As usual, the blockchain adoption has been fueled by basically the market swings. Price goes up, people jump in, new people come.
Okay, Miguel, tell us now, because it took a couple of years for Qtum to take off, you know? Tell us how long it took to get to the point that it was a successful blockchain.
Well, actually, even before Qtum existed, we realized that something new had to be built. Like Ethereum was already around, at least the ICO had taken place, and mainnet was already live back then. We realized that we needed to do something that resembled Bitcoin, but had the features that Ethereum had. But way before this, we participated in a hackathon in Shanghai. And it was only Neil, myself, and Patrick, the three co-founders of Qtum. And we got second place.
Second place.
And we actually got beat by Guangxiang, but I mean, we were above some big companies that participated in the hackathon. And it was only 3 guys. that was very cool. So we started getting attention in China, like, who are those guys?
Okay.
So eventually, I was the first one to travel to China from, between me and Neil. And I went to Shanghai and met some other people, and we founded this incubator called Bitsy.
Bitsy, okay.
So Bitsy was the incubator where VeChain came, was born, and also Qtum was born. So when we started with VeChain, that was like, it was a very, I usually believe that the simplest ideas, the simplest use cases, the ones that are clear, are the ones that can be more successful, or at least faster.
Okay.
So VeChain was a very clear use case. It's not simple, but it's very clear use case. So it was just, designed to be successful. Of course, it took a while, especially back in the day, 2016. Most people haven't heard about blockchain.
Yeah.
And when you talk about blockchain, it's like trading. So you have to explain the whole thing, how it worked, and why this is good, why this is much better than having a database for verification. So yeah, it did take a while, but eventually we got the first pilot in Paris in early 2017. But back then we already knew that Ethereum wasn't going to work for us. Okay. We were using VeChain on Ethereum.
Okay.
And we forked it eventually, but when you are actually trying to write maybe like 1 million IDs on an Ethereum blockchain, it's
tough.
Yeah, it's tough. The gas fees went to the sky, and it was extremely slow at times. So we had to come up with something new. So that's where Qtum came from. So Qtum is far from Bitcoin, but since it's UTXO model, you can take advantage of stuff like Lightning Network.
Okay.
So that's second layer. Actually, there's something that we're working with a partner for layer 3 scalability. Okay. Which eventually will allow Qtum to get maybe like 10 to 15 million transactions per day. So that's huge.
That's cool.
It's huge.
Now let's talk about community. Obviously, all the blockchain, they need the community, right? Yeah. When was the first core of community that you had? Where were they from? What region?
China.
China, yeah?
Yeah, initially we were extremely big in China. Like we had so many WeChat channels, I don't even remember how many, but they were all maxed out. Maxed out by that I mean, so WeChat allows you to have 50,000 members. We had maybe like 10, 15 channels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Telegram got big. So that was in like 2017, before the crowd sale in March. We were already big, and by the time we launched the blockchain, which was September 2017, our numbers were huge.
Just before the bull market.
We actually launched. Yeah, the entire 2017 was like the build up.
Yeah.
So we launched before the bull run. The bull run was between November, December, up to January for the altcoins. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so now I just was going to ask you. The community start to grow on Telegram, you say. So now let's go back a little bit, because when you are starting any project, you're an entrepreneur, any company, you have to pull many hats. Yeah, you have to be the graphic designer, the community lead. You have to do the presentation, the analytics. So how many hats do you have since the beginning?
Well, now it's changed. Our company has grown a lot, but still wear many hats, but not as many as before. Like. The original Qtum logo, actually, I was the one who designed it, the first website. Okay. And and actually participate with Neil on building the original wallet and making changes to the icons and whatnot. But yeah, it was a lot to do. Of course, I had to take care of business development. So yeah, back then, yes. So so many hats, but it's really fun. I mean, it's you have to be very energetic and energetic to do something like this, yes. But also, since this is crypto, you have to be a little bit relaxed, at least on your mind.
That way we're talking just having dinner. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Because when you see market crashes like the ones that happened this week, you know, with the whole FTX collapse, that surprised me, to be honest, really surprised me. That kind of thing makes people panic.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, they get even mentally shocked. Actually, some of my friends, the ones that started with me in crypto, they're no longer in crypto. So that they actually got sick.
Physically?
Yeah, mentally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, it's crazy. It's a really crazy industry, but I find it to be really fun. Yes. And it's just getting started. Like, once you see, when we went to Token 2049 in Singapore, and we started seeing the growth of Web3 projects.
Yeah.
That's when you see the new trend. That's when you see the new technologies, the new ideas, new people coming in. And I think that's going to fuel the next decade for sure.
Amazing. And now let's talk about the new ideas, what is coming soon. Let's talk about Moonland. That's the new baby on the block.
Yeah.
You're going to rock it up. Let's start, why Moonland? Who came with the idea of Moonland?
Well, actually last year I was at the Kennedy Space Center.
In Kennedy, yeah?
Yeah, Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Cape Canaveral. And I was just, you know, doing the tour like everyone else. And eventually I got to the Apollo section, you know, where they have like this replica of the Apollo 11. And the whole thing was so inspiring that it just hit me. I'm not even sure how I started, but I just like moved aside and started writing on my cell phone an idea on my notes.
Oh, wow.
And it got really long, and I was like, wow, this is something. But I didn't have a name for it, so I just kept walking and walking and walking. And at the end of the tour, there's the Moonlander, the actual Moonlander that stepped on the moon back in the 60s. So when I saw the Moonlander and I saw the name, I was like, oh, that's the name. So I just put it on the title.
Yeah.
Then I sent the idea, it was maybe like 3 a.m. in China, but I sent it to my friend Patrick, and he was like, that's a crazy idea, I like it. Who wrote that? It was like me.
So you wrote it while you were in the Kennedy Space Center?
Yeah.
Oh, that's inspiration. That's why when you travel more, you get more ideas, you get more inspiration.
Yes.
That's amazing. And the fact that you call it Moonland, like everybody say to the moon and all of that, but actually you have to get there. So Moonland, you have to land. You have to land, yeah. Which is great. Let's talk about what is coming for Moonland. By the way, guys, I'm going to start to help Miguel and the whole team in Moonland. Very honored. Especially because we're both from Colombia, so that's something that we're very proud of being Colombian, being Latinos. But let's talk about Moonland as such. What is when is the launch? What are you expecting from the community at the beginning?
Well, Moonland is a whole new concept in the ways that metaverses are being built. Most metaverses are focusing on NFTs and not really trying to be fun, but we want it to be fun. We want Moonland to be fun and engaging. So it kind of looks and behaves like a video game, but you're gonna have everything that you can do in a metaverse and so much more. For instance, we're gonna have shopping malls.
Okay.
We're gonna have shopping malls. We're gonna partner with some brands and actually some sports teams.
Okay.
And can't give the names yet, but yes. And we're actually gonna have access to restaurants. Like you can walk into a restaurant and you can see what happens in this restaurant, even if you're not there. Even maybe a nightclub.
Okay.
It's a possibility.
Okay.
So you can eventually walk into a nightclub in space in Moonland, in the metaverse, and you can see what's going on in the actual nightclub in real life. Like these places are real life locations that you can see from the metaverse.
Amazing.
It's a crazy concept.
It is crazy concept, but crazy ideas are normally good, right? The great thing is that you can make possibility of new projects. Unless you are very visionary, right? So the vision that you're putting in Moonland, you said that you had this idea in the Kennedy Space Center, but once you start to develop the project, what it keeps you going to develop the vision even further?
Oh, once you start with something like that you're really passionate about, and watching it grow from the beginning, you start getting more ideas.
Like Meraki.
So there's a new idea that's going to be part of Moonland. It's called Meraki, and it's kind of like a prequel explaining where Moonland came from. But for instance, in Moonland, in the metaverse, the moon was blown up in pieces by some aliens, but there's no explanation for it. Not in the video. And once you start in Moonland, there's no real explanation. And so Meraki kind of explains what happened, and it goes, to ancient civilizations like Sumerians and the original Atlanteans, and it's very cool, very crazy, very well. And one thing that we have a great team together, an amazing team. It's multicultural. Although we have offices in Miami, we all work from different places, and our community is already starting to grow pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We haven't launched it yet. There will be a pre-alpha version the next couple months, and this pre-alpha version will be very basic, but it will allow up to 100 players to roam around in Moonland and play. Maybe we're gonna do like a headbutt game.
Okay.
Right? Like all they can do is just headbutt each other, but it's gonna be really fun. Of course, the quality is really high. We are focusing on quality. We want it to look great, feel great. We chose Unreal 5 for that reason, and we are actually making our own music for the game. Every sound, every single step, every piece of music that you hear in Moonland is actually made by real live instruments.
I don't know, guys, if you are getting the idea and all the inspiration that Miguel is giving you, but look, he's a pioneer in the industry. He built his own blockchain with his friends, travel the world, obviously has that Latin spirit, that Latin spice. So talking about music, about shopping, about going out there. Miguel, let's talk about now a little bit about your life. Let's outside of blockchain and programming and being a successful entrepreneur, what do you like to do?
But usually, when I'm not working, do kind of like relaxing stuff, like go to the beach, walk my dog whenever I can be with my dog, because I'm always traveling. So whenever I'm there, we just go out running, maybe run like 5 miles or something, and then head back home. And I'll try to spend time with my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom. But yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Miguel, thank you so much for coming to the show. And now everybody that come to my show, you get an NFT based on the favorite animal. Actually, the artist, his name is Andres Meneses. He's from Colombia, but lives in Abu Dhabi. So which one is your favorite animal?
Wolf.
Wolf. So yeah,
sure.
We will send you an NFT on Binance NFT, because we're doing it there. And then what we want to do after the first 30 or 50 episodes, we will do an event that we all go, all the Crypto OGS will go, and we will auction the piece of NFT for a charity that we will decide very soon.
Awesome.
So you will get your NFT very soon.
Thank you so much.
Miguel, thank you so much for coming to the show, and I'll see you in Moonland.
Yeah, absolutely. See you in Moonland.
See you in Moonland. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Salió bueno.